So when he asked me like what I'm going to do, I think I said something like, I don't know. Like if I spelled it out to them with one of those two terms, make me uncomfortable or make me feel threatened, that things would get very difficult for me. And the reason provided right after that was because I would have done so having gone after the only black host in the building. Great. So now race is a factor. May of 2019. I walk into work one morning. It's a Friday. I'm hosting a show on 710 ESPN Seattle. It's a local sports affiliate in Seattle, one of the two major stations up there or up here. I've been hosting for 5 years at this point, or yeah, roughly. But I'm also the producer of the show. It's called Bob Graz and Tom. We have a grand old time every day. Well, I'd say in general, I mean, I've worked there since 2011. I've only ever gotten great, and I mean great, let's say reviews, be they yearly or semi-annually, however they do them. Collected numerous what they call above and beyond awards, helping out when it's needed, beyond the normal expectations of your job duties, that kind of thing. Yeah. Good ratings, I get along with everybody, the whole thing. I haven't worked there for 9 years for no reason. I would just to kind of I could go more into detail about that, but I won't. All right. So this day, I walk in there and there's a guy named G, who's a host. He used to be on the sports side with us, but now is hosting the middays over on our sister station. It's Cairo 97.3 FM. Forget all this stuff. But he knows. I mean, everybody in the building knows one another, but he definitely does because he's still connected to sports, and I know he does. He must do like appearances and whatnot on the sports side. So we all know each other, and he and I in particular are, let's say, I mean, we're friends, but we're colleagues, of course, but we don't hang out outside work, but we have let's say we have a unique work or collegial relationship because he's black, I'm white. We're both, let's say, upfront and willing to discuss what needs to be discussed. And we have at this point, we have like a 4-year history of doing it in a remarkably productive and fun way.
I'm almost not tall enough to reach that. What do you think?
Everybody, Tom Wassell is going to illustrate where everybody is with the Mariners.
G is here. Tom is here.
And we're Mariner fans. Where's our fan base?
Most fans. Graz.
It's fair to say we're both definitely passionate. We're combustible, mercurial. Maybe that might be a good word. I'm not quite sure what I mean by that, but it seems like it could be a good word. Let's say this. I was rightly or wrong, probably on some days rightly, and on a lot of days wrongly. I was known for being like as friendly as I normally am. There were days where I was moody and aloof. Definitely. No question about it. Now, because of that, And I think I probably copped to that, but maybe because of that, other days where I was not just other days, but most days where I was not, I was just normal, hey, but maybe I was focused on what I was doing as opposed to kicking my feet up or, just standing there doing nothing, shooting the breeze over. I was focused. I mean, I have to host and produce, so I have a full plate every single day. So because of that, my office, or not my office, our office, my desk faces the other way, away from the door, so I'm not like turning around to say hi everybody every time somebody fucking comes in the door. You gotta, come around and say hi. Hey, Tom, I need you. Oh, hey, okay. Well, when I would come in, I would have my keys in my hand, and naturally, take your jacket off, you put it on your little chair, put the keys down, and the desk, it wasn't a desk, it was really like a platform that ran the length of the wall, or that wall and then the two adjacent to it. It was like a Formica thing. And I would come in, put my keys down, and it would, I don't have my keys on me, but I'll pretend with this nail clipper, it sounded, or something like, right? Except it was the sound of keys in a bigger room, so it was like, right? Well, G got the idea somehow that I was coming in, let's say 9:30 in the morning. It's not early, but I guess it's not, late. He got the idea that I was coming in like in a bad mood and like slamming my keys down. I don't think he actually like thought that, but because, hey, it's Tom and he's, like he thought maybe making a joke about that would play into, my persona. We could have a laugh about it, which we did more than, a couple of them actually. But then it was like every time I came in and he happened to be there. I'm not saying he was there every day, but if he were, hey, Grumpy. Hey, how's it going? And then on occasion, not every time by any stretch, maybe no more than 4, probably more like 2 or 3. That that little joke would be followed up by, again, I'm sitting facing away from the door, so whether he's in there or not, or he's coming in after me, coming up behind me and like, "Hey, how's it going, Grumpy?" And like, hands, I won't say slamming on the shoulders, like it hurts, but like, okay. I don't say anything. Yeah, it doesn't bother me enough to say anything. It's just like what it's like. Okay, okay, fine. Well, on this day, it matters enough, I guess. So we got Mora. Mora is at the time Clayton's producer, and G used to fill in quite a bit for John, or even co-host with him at times. So he and Mora had worked together. I mean, they might be friends anyway. So they're. I can't remember if when I came in they were already talking, or if I came in and then I think that he was already in there, but we hadn't like said hi yet or something. So he does this thing. I put my keys down. How's it going, Grumpy? Shoulders. And this is I decided to say something. So I forget, I think he walked up. So I'm sitting here like I'm in my swirly chair as I am now. And he came up on my right, probably just to, start talking in conversation like we normally would have. He's, maybe a foot away here, kind of standing over me, maybe looking at his phone or something. And I turned to him calmly, but I guess seriously enough where he knew I wasn't kidding around. I said to him, I'm going to try and mimic it the best I can remember. Okay. It was, it was something like this. It was something like, hey man, would you mind not doing that anymore? Like, I said, maybe it bothers me or it annoys me or I don't care for it or something like that. I wasn't mad. I wasn't going to hold it against him. I wasn't going to stare him down and be like, yeah, nothing. It was just one of those things. It was one of those moments that nobody ever wants to, let's say, act upon. It's like, oh, I just want, the first 10 times something happens to us, we never want to say anything. We want to create that, but sometimes you just got to do it. I am a person who will do it after, the first several times I let it slide. Okay. Well, I tell him this, and I don't know, within a few seconds, he backs up maybe, I don't know, 3 feet-ish. Did I turn my chair around to me? I probably did. I must have, because he was looking at me when he said, well, anyway. So I turn around, and I can't remember if he pointed, but he was looking right at me. He says my last name. He says, should I even yell it? Yeah, I got to do it. I got to mimic it. He goes, Wassell, you're a fucking hoe! Okay. So within, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 seconds, not knowing if I'm going to, be in a fight or bloodied on the ground or with broken hand or what, I don't know what's going to happen. I just yelled at him. I said, you better get the fuck out of the office right now, or something like that. Get the fuck out of I did say get the fuck out of the office. I don't know how I dressed it up around that. And he did. Not because I told him to. He just I'm assuming he either, didn't want it to escalate any more than I did, or he thought, as I did, that it was a good idea that he leave. Okay. Well, we got a witness, and because we both yelled, it had to have been audible to somebody down the hall. The acoustics of that area of the building would have made it so. Let's just put it that way. Now, mind you, in this situation, like if this just happened, at my house or my apartment or at a, if it were back in the day, like outside of bars, guys get drunk, they get, oh, fuck you. That you let it go, you revisit it the next day. Hey, bro, I don't know what the fuck happened. Let's just, everything okay? Yeah, it's been this, you kind of said that thing the other day. Oh, fuck, yeah, dude, I shouldn't have done it. Things have a way of working out, right? Well, workplace is a little different. And again, would I have said anything to anybody? No. G's a man. I'm a man. I don't know that I'm like a man's man in the sense you might be like, I don't own a gun. I don't go hunting or any of that shit. Like, I don't know that much about cars, but there's a lot of respects in which, I can act like a man. This is one of them. I know how to settle things and live up to that sort of standard. And I think G does too, frankly. But it's the workplace. It's an overly regulated HR state there. So over the 9 years that I've worked there, again, the station is called 710 ESPN Seattle. It's owned by a company named Bonneville, which, just point of fact, is owned by the Mormon Church, although that's not relevant really in this tale. I don't think, anyway. Maybe it'll become that if they see this. Who knows? But I've had enough HR training policies to know that if this shit goes down, whether you're involved in it or you see it or something, yeah, best to report it. Let your boss know. Let the HR go. They'll take care of it. Everything will be good. Probably better to be safe than sorry. Okay. Well, my boss is Mike. His name is Mike Salk. He's at the time the program director of the station, and he's also a host. So at this time of morning, it's probably 9:45 ish. I'm thinking. I text him. He's on the air, but I needed to get out in front of this, I guess. So I text him. I think my exact text was, "I think you should keep G away from me, or keep him the hell away from me," or something like that. It was kind of like, let's send Mike an indicator that something foul is afoot without, I mean, he's going to be in here in 10 minutes anyway, so I'm not going to write up the whole story in a text to him. Hmm. So after his show is over, he comes in. He comes right up to me in the same way. Everybody kind of came up to me in that same way G did. I didn't mean to make it sound like he was standing over me. That's how people would come up and approach me in the morning, right? He comes up. He was obviously concerned. Concerned for who or what specifically, I don't know, but maybe more than one thing or more than one person. But I don't even remember what he said there, if anything. I think he might have felt like he had to go into boss mode and play be on liability lookout. So he didn't say too much, and I wasn't approached by anybody that day, really. I don't think. Oh, hey, what happened with you? Not really much of that at all, if any. I go on the air that day. We have our show again. It's Friday. I go home. I don't really hear anything, but it's obviously on my mind. So then Saturday, I wake up. I'm I'm in bed when I get this call. It's maybe 9:30 or 10 in the morning, something like that. And it's Mike, my boss. Okay. Hello. Hey, I don't remember if I even got so much as a hi, how you doing? Maybe I got the courtesy. Hey, and keep in mind, he's my boss, but Mike's the reason I'm out here. It was his request, his invite back in 2011. Let's say we're close. We've known each other since well before either. He's from Boston. I'm from Connecticut. Neither one of us are from this area, but we've kind of, by this point, we consider ourselves, not natives, but this is where we're from now, right? We 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 didn't embark on this thing together exactly, but he was at her 2 years before me. He brought me along later on. Okay, and we're close. Do we hang out a ton outside of where we play golf? We don't go out like partying really, but well, in fact, by that point, I hadn't been partying with anybody in about 5 years. But we know each other. We've got a lot of money in the bank together, figuratively, and there's trust there, I would say. A lot of, profound experiences, like, rites of passage, the whole thing. Well, the first thing I hear out of his mouth, other than maybe the hi, how you doing, is, would you consider apologizing? In a, let's say, boss voice. Consider apologizing. Without I don't even think I asked him, like, why I would do that, like, what I would be apologizing for exactly, but I said, "No." I was like, "No, no, I'm not gonna apologize." And I think I asked him, I said, "Why? Does G wanna apologize or something?" And Mike, I do remember this, Mike said, "Well, I can't tell you." Or maybe I said, like, "Have you talked to G already?" So I can't talk about it. He said, like, "I can't tell you, I can't talk about it." I was like, okay." Like, well, that's real helpful. And I'm sure it's if he can't, then it's probably a rule, but who the heck fuck knows? I don't know. Oh god. So now I'm like put off because this thing happened yesterday. I haven't heard from anybody. It's the weekend. So I know I got to wait a couple of days for any adjudication here to take place. And I'm getting this call put to me on a Saturday morning as if I've been called into his office. And he's my boss. And he's asking, but, you know, it's one of those, you know, when your boss asks you to do something, or like when they say, oh, that was just a suggestion. It's like, no. When you ask, request, suggest, that's like an order, essentially. Because even if it's not binding, it's still something you would probably do just to, like, you know, impress your boss, or, you know, that kind of thing. Would you consider apologizing? What? And then I don't know how quickly this happened, but he asked me like what I was gonna do, like uh, as that circumstance would related to like HR avenues I might pursue, which I wasn't really planning on, other than whatever they were planning on pursuing with me. Let's say, I mean, I assumed that they wanted to ask me some questions about it, right? Like, hey, tell us your version of the story. Like, that's really as far as I had intended to take it, unless something went sideways with it, right? Which it did very quickly. But okay, so he starts. So when he asked me like what I'm going to do, I think I said something like I don't know, or I don't know. But he somehow we get into, there's these two words. Well, there's one word, but it's one of the two. I can't remember which one. One of them is uncomfortable. The other is threat. I'm not sure which of the two this little subsection of the discussion revolved around, but it was indicated to me that if I were to tell HR, maybe even when they question me, if without me like going out of my way to report anything, if I said that G either did or I thought he would continue to make me uncomfortable or make me feel threatened, like if I spelled it out to them with one of those two terms, if not either, that things would get very difficult for me, either in the building, it was the word difficult or hard or something, and the reason provided right after that was because I would have done so having gone after the only black host in the building. Great. So now race is a factor. Awesome. And my boss has not only, called me on a Saturday morning at home before HR is investigated, and right out of the gate asked me, I'm going to use the word coerce, nudge, tried to get me to kind of, do the thing he wanted me to do, and apologizing again for what I don't know. I would have had to have made something up. So that's, so the call is like strike one. Asking me to apologize. By the way, I'm just going to jump ahead here. At no point in this section of this saga is there any disagreement in what transpired. Not between G and I, not between Maura, the witness, not with Marin, the HR person, who I'll tell you about in a minute, not Mike, not Ed. The versions of the story I mean, it's a pretty quick, simple story. So it's not there's not a whole lot of wiggle room to manipulate it. We end up telling the same story, which is good. Like I was appreciative of that, actually. Okay. So, but I bring that up because, what would I be apologizing for? So, okay. So anyway, call strike one. Apologize for what? I don't know. Strike two. Strike three. Intimidating me into thinking or maybe just trying to outright coerce me into not reporting this as, let's say, a harassment offense or however it would have gone down had I done it because of race. I don't know how that phone call was left, but I can tell you this. I didn't feel I felt extremely uneasy. In fact, I felt threatened by Mike and uncomfortable by Mike. By that standard, I guess I would have reported him before I reported G for anything. I wasn't going to report G for it. I never had that intention. I was only going to say what happened in the event that HR called me into their office or on the phone or whatever. Like, I wasn't going to do anything other than that. But now I've got this problem. I've got intimidation, and I've got this injection of race, and by the way, coercion by my boss to not pursue what would be my legal right to do. And by the way, if I were any less generous a person, what I fucking would have done and should have done. All right. So, I've never been called into HR. I've never called anybody to HR. I don't know how any of this shit works. But given what G did, yelling, Wassell, you're a fucking hoe, as loud as he could, in the workplace, in front of a witness who happens to be a woman. I don't know if that makes a difference, but I feel like it kind of does, or it would to the people who have to adjudicate this shit. So I'm thinking okay, whether or not I say anything at all, it's on the table in my mind that G might get fired here, which I don't want to happen. Okay. This is a work it out, as I said before, this is a work it out like a couple of men situation. Come in on my, or don't, but this isn't tattletale, let's, I want him fired and I don't feel comfortable. I didn't think he would, in the moment, I didn't know what he was going to do, which is why I yelled at him to get out of there. But, I didn't think that if I walked through the door on Monday, he was going to be waiting there with a baseball bat. I didn't think anything like that was going to happen. In fact, I thought the most likely scenario was that we just run into each other when we do, probably soon after that, and just be like, yo, man, should we talk or what? And fucking just work it out. We probably would have, That actually never happened. Never. To this day. Which, it saddens me, actually, because I actually think about him a lot. I think about this event a lot, but I think about him a lot. To tell you the truth, this event, it's memorable for sure. It's not something that I'm going to forget, but I may have to do a 10-part series on this shit because of everything that happened later. By the way, none of which involved G after this. Thank God. This was the most, I'll say innocuous, but it was the least, it didn't injure me emotionally. His actions, the company, what's to follow here, did, but his actions didn't. And it was just a mistake, I think. And, maybe I had pissed him off in passing in maybe, I don't know, maybe a month before that or something. I mean, the possibility that he would have just up and screamed at me like that for no reason, like just for me saying like, "Hey, would you mind not doing that?" It something there doesn't add up. So either he was just an unconscionably foul mood that day and happened to be sensitive to like anything that I might have said, or maybe I had said something that he's been, that kind of bristled him. And I don't what that would have been. I have no idea. Again, because we never got a chance to work it out or talk about it if there was something. So it's possible that I did. I'm I'm open to that. And upon hearing it, whatever it may have been, who knows? But like if it were something overt, like I was rude either to him or somebody else, yeah, as as touchy as I could be, I had to say I was not a malicious person there. Like I didn't start shit. I re- I reacted badly on more than one occasion, like, So we get in there. It's me, G, Marin, who's the building HR. Like she's like the head of HR for the Seattle office. Again, Mormon Church. The company's run out of Salt Lake City. And then this guy Ryan, who he's not there anymore, but he was G's boss, his like direct report at the time. I guess he oversaw the news station. And then Mike. So 5 of us. I tell my version, mind you, no phone call to me beforehand, no investigation. Keep that in mind. Marin's basically the only one talking. Ryan doesn't say shit, nor do I expect him to. I don't think Mike really said much either, but Marin asked me for my account of the events. I gave it to her just as I just gave them to you. Except I didn't tell her about the Mike phone call. I didn't tell anybody about that. By the way, it's worth saying at this point, that phone call all but severed any trust that we ever had. I couldn't, to this day, I can't believe he did that. And again, G's offense here, so to speak, even the putting his hands on me or whatever, like, those those things are so forgivable, or mistakes, misunderstandings, whatever they are. What Mike did, like, injured me to my core. Okay, anyway, so I tell the story. I think Marin turned to G and said, G, would you like to give your version of it, or do you want to add anything, something like that? And he just basically said, no, that sounds like what happened, that kind of thing. So okay, cool. I didn't think he would like make shit up, but I was relieved to hear that it was like, okay, well, at least we're on the same page. So Marin just turns to G and kind of gives him the, all right, well, don't do that anymore or something. And then she turns to me and she goes, I know she said this sentence. Now, whether she said something before it or after it, I don't know. She did probably, but I can't remember. But she did say this. She said, and Tom, we can't have you saying, get the fuck out of the office. So G, don't do that. Tom, don't do this. What? Oh, and by the way, I will say this. I was a little surprised. Maybe he didn't want to do it in front of them. I could understand that, but after she told me this, it was basically class dismissed, and G just got up and left, and actually didn't even look at me on the way out the door, nor did he apologize. I'm not a forced apology guy. I don't want a forced apology from G. I don't want them to force him. I don't want him to apologize and not mean it. So I of the 4 options there, sincere apology, no apology from forced by them, no apology compelled by himself, or insincere apology, I'll take what he did. It's the second best option, I guess. But so that's problem 1. I mean, I don't know if I would do like if I weren't sorry for something, I guess I wouldn't either. But again, like was he not sorry? I was willing to look at this whole thing. It's just like a mistake, again, potentially something that, was precipitated by an unknown action of mine, maybe? I don't know. But he wasn't even willing to apologize for the thing that you would apologize for, even if even if the person you yelled at were in the wrong, because like he went overboard and frankly was lucky to not be fired. But, and so if it were me, like, what I wouldn't apologize if I didn't think I had to, but I might consider it in the presence of these other people because they might expect me to, like, hey, a year down the line, hey, Tom, yeah, I know, but, I'm remembering that time when that thing happened, you didn't apologize, and so now I kind of got to, you would think that, Jesus, Mark guy, like, he might think, nope, nothing, out the door, like, oh, okay, interesting, and they don't seem to care, and there was no investigation, nobody asked me anything other than in this meeting, and the let's say the verdict, the jury, what did he get? Slap on the wrist. What did I get? Slap on the wrist. Okay, I'm fine with his penalty. I don't want him to get any more than that. I didn't even want him to get suspended. I don't want him to lose pay or anything like that. But what the fuck are you slapping my wrist for? Like, I'm the plaintiff. What did I do? Because I said, get the fuck out of the office? That's a visceral reaction. Like, again, I don't know. Let's say that I was dealing with like a psychopath, but we don't know that it is until we know, that kind of thing. What if I had gotten hurt? What if there was a knife or a gun, or, it's somebody other than G, let's say. And, I don't yell, get the fuck out of the office. And I end up on the ground and the EMTs show up and they got to scoop me up with a fucking spatula. Would it have been okay in that case if I had said, get the fuck out of the office? Like, where are these fucking people? Where are their heads? So, the whole thing is a push. And that's it. So that was May of 2019. I was fired in November of 2020. I will tell you this, okay? And this is the truth. I think I woke up every single morning from that day until it's really until COVID hit. So that would be roughly a year, maybe a little less than a year. Every day I had to go into that office. I would get in the shower in the morning and I would grind my teeth and clench my fists and curse that place out under my breath. Again, I didn't want them to do anything to G, but you know what? I didn't realize this before, but after it was over, or that event was over, not only have I, has Mike broken his trust with me, and then turns out would do it again multiple times, but now I know, like, how the sausage is made as far as HR is concerned. I know what they're up to, why they say, I mean, I already know, but I know kind of thing. That, all the meetings and all the trainings and all the, the email blasts with statements of value, and we look out for so and blah, blah, blah. Except if it's you. and you happen to mess with a person who, checks a particular box, then not only will we not protect you, and again, do I need their protection? No. Do I want it? No. But what I don't want is to be fucking held responsible when everybody knows goddamn well it's not. I didn't do the thing. Even the guy, who I guess we all have the option to lie in a given situation. Even the guy who could have seized the opportunity to lie and like turn it around on me didn't do it, and yet one of these people in the room is telling me I should apologize, and I don't, and they slap me on the wrist anyway and say, no, you can't do that anymore. What do you mean anymore? Whoa. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. I'm laughing now because it's so ludicrous and appalling that it is kind of funny, but I'm telling you, I was like a ghost in that place afterwards, and here's why. I don't know which of my other colleagues ever were involved in that kind of thing in that office or ever, maybe somewhere else, but you ever get, well, it's been well over a decade since I've had this experience, but I remember that I had it and it sucked. You ever show up to work like hungover or something, or maybe you didn't sleep or something, and you go in and you're a zombie, right? You're just like, but you're looking around at everybody else who you suspect, got a good night's sleep and they're kind of good to go, but you feel like, oh my God, I'm the only person who's just like out of it. Everybody else, I'm like, I just envy you because you're not in my head right now. That's how I felt about every other person I saw. Because I felt like I had a bullseye on my back. Because if it were the case that let's say I made not the same mistake as G, like the same kind of mistake as G, maybe to somebody else. Maybe I didn't swear like that and scream in there, but something happens, let's say. Like, is there a chance in hell that when I get, reported and charges actually are brought up on me, that my slap on the wrist from this incident doesn't get brought up? Like, that's like on my fucking record now. I gotta be burdened with this shit in my head and heart and gut for the rest of the time I work here, essentially. I've lost a friend, apparently, who won't speak to me. He did this thing, doesn't feel the need to apologize, which makes it worse, not because I didn't get the apology, but because it makes me think like I really must have done something. And now I'm like worried about that.